What is your number 5?
So, my number 5 on this list is Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown, the black sheep of the features. Very good. It's my number 6.
Your number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
If you had the chance to walk off with $500,000, would you take it?
Yeah.
There's one. There's one that you bumped lower, but we've pretty much got the same ranking, I think.
Yeah. Amazing
really
movie.
good.
So good. I unfortunately am not really into the Coen brothers, and for all intents and purposes, this is a Coen brothers movie
Yeah.
directed by Tarantino,
It
which is
feels-
the only fault that I have with the movie, and
But it is the movie.
it is the movie.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's if you are listening to this and you don't particularly like Tarantino and you don't like Pulp Fiction, you don't like Bastards, you don't like Reservoir Dogs, and you haven't seen Jackie Brown,
Please watch it.
I'd suggest watching it. I think you'll probably like it. I know Mark Kermode, the film reviewer, British from the BBC, doesn't like Tarantino at all, but loves Jackie Brown.
In the case of Jackie Brown, for the first time, we have fully rounded characters. We have women who actually appear to be women, not just people in dresses talking like Quentin Tarantino. We have character development. We have people who appear to be three-dimensional. We have backstory that fits up with the front story. We have something approaching maturity. In fact, we have his best film to date.
This is what I would call the thinking man's Tarantino. If you're not a Tarantino fan and you don't like the gimmicks, which is just Tarantino, you might get a lot out of this.
Yeah, this is not one to watch while you're drunk with your mates.
No, and also it is very slow.
It's very slow,
if you
very dialogue heavy.
If you go into this movie thinking that you're gonna be like rip-roaring stakes, you ain't gonna get anything out of this.
It's some of the best performances in Tarantino though. Pam Grier, Robert De Niro,
Robert
Samuel
De
L.
Niro.
Jackson, Robert Forster.
Robert De Niro in this movie, it may have overtaken Robert De Niro in The Godfather
He's a
2.
very handsome man.
He looks so hot in this. But he's also great. The bit where he just fucking... she's just like yapping in his ear and he just
Where'd you
fucking
park the
shoots
car?
her. So good.
Keep your mouth shut.
Well,
I mean, don't say one fucking word, okay?
okay, Lewis.
I love all those conversations where Robert De Niro just drops in and just sits down and smokes a joint, and it just
So
takes
good.
his fucking
Yeah.
time.
I
And
mean,
it's so
This is a
Oh.
stoner movie.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
It
it takes its goddamn time. There's some twists along the way. The relationship between Pam Grier's character, or Jackie Brown, and Robert Forster's character,
Max,
Max, is
Oh.
great.
that scene at the end
Yeah.
is just... Their relationship is so good. And
It is.
even talking about it, I feel so bad putting it this low.
Yeah.
But the films that come above it
Yeah,
are,
that's the thing.
are
The
just...
worldies.
Yeah. But like... Oh my god, this movie is incredible. I wish I liked it more.
I do like the fact as well. It's a real break in style from Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
So when did this come out? 99?
so this came out in 1997.
7. Okay, Pulp Fiction was 4. Right?
90, yeah, so Reservoir Dogs was 92, Pulp Fiction was 94, and Jackie Brown was 97. So
Oh, it's
he made
crazy,
these three
yeah.
movies in less than 10 years.
And he could have so easily the praise. I
Oh.
mean, Pulp Fiction is the darling of Cannes, and
The darling of film.
yeah, and to go like, right, gonna make a really mild mannered, low
Mm.
intensity, non gimmicky
And it's also about a woman.
blaxploitation movie for all intents and
It
purposes.
is a blaxploitation movie.
I'm gonna have to remember this place. This alright. About 2 minutes from your crib, 10 minutes from the gig.
What's your
Not
drink,
bad.
brother?
Let me get a screwdriver home.
Yeah, very gutsy. And
Mm.
Pam Grier, again, like we said before, veteran actors that he gets
Yeah.
back. I mean, she's coffee for fuck's sake.
It was easy for him because he really didn't believe it was coming. But it ain't gonna be easy for you because you better believe it's coming.
Yeah,
Right.
and he also... One thing I like about Tarantino is that he does wear his influences on his sleeve.
Yeah, it
And
can
I
be a
don't think he-
double-edged sword.
Yeah, I don't think he ever tries to hide that. However, I mean, we are not the people to be commenting on Tarantino co-opting black culture, but
God,
anyway.
cut the clip of him on the fucking Django Unchained press tour.
I'm not that computer savvy. So if he had sent me something that I plug into my computer, I don't know if I would have ever heard it. All right, hey, download this. I don't know how to do that. All right, so
the pacing of this movie is amazing. Sam Jackson's character is great. The cop stuff is great.
It's really good.
It just, everything about this movie works.
It is for me like a, like a Fargo or a Big Lebowski or a Miller's Crossing, where it's good to just stick on a Sunday afternoon and maybe smoke a joint and maybe have a nice beer. And just let it wash over you. It's really good.
So this movie has a 7.5 on IMDb, an 88% Rotten Tomatoes, and a 64 Metascore.
What the fuck do critics know anyway?
So, I mean...
Cult classic, not bestseller, innit?
Having come off the back of Pulp Fiction and making this is brazy. Like... He was like, "Oh, you want me to do the same thing again? Fuck you! I'm making something completely different." And
hell yeah,
and it works. It is a phenomenal film. I can't say enough good things about the performances, the soundtrack. It's a very different Tarantino movie.
It is,
and for me, it's a lot more in the vein of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Every time he makes a big movie, he makes one for the stoner losers in the back. And that's me.
That's us. That's
so,
our film club.
Yeah.
You're number 4.
So, now we're getting into the big boy territory here.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see where this place is, but my 4th is Pulp Fiction.
That's my 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just getting big man's wife. Well, he's going out of town in Florida, and he asked me if I'd take care of her while he's gone. Take care? No, man.
I like it a lot. It isn't my favourite. I have issues with it. However, there's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said about this movie. It is truly, honestly, one of the most amazing and accomplished pieces of filmmaking ever.
Yeah, it's insane. It's an insane movie. It's a once-in-a-generation movie.
Yeah.
Garçon, coffee. This place.
Garçon means boy.
It's so good. The script is flawless.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack is flawless. The performance is flawless. The fact that you can just... Like, you were watching it this morning, because full disclosure, I didn't rewatch Pulp Fiction because I've seen it far too many fucking times. Like, every scene in that movie is just emblazoned in my brain from when I was 14.
Yeah.
But you were watching it this morning just to get in the mood, and when I woke up and the end of the movie was on, and it's like you can pick that movie up from anywhere.
I think that is what's so amazing
At
about it.
any point, you can drag your cursor along or skip a scene, and you just pick it up, and it's just so captivating.
I will say, this is going to be a controversial opinion. I don't like the Christopher Walken scene.
Oh, fuck off.
And he shoved it up his ass.
It's so good.
5 long years he wore this watch up his ass. Then he died of dysentery. Give me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years.
It's great. It's a great cameo.
But I don't really like the Butch storyline either.
I think the Butch storyline is the weakest. I don't particularly like the Zed stuff.
I find Fabienne so annoying.
Pot belly.
Yeah, where I'm just like...
Blueberry muffins.
Blueberry
pancakes.
I would smother her.
Yeah, she's really annoying.
Just so
she's
irritating.
Not Manic Pixie Dream Girl. She's just
No,
irritating.
she's so edgy for no reason.
I do love Bruce Willis in that movie.
I think he is very good.
It's just his storyline is the weakest, probably.
Yeah.
And again, it's no fault because it's just the rest of it's so good that in comparison.
Yeah, and I think.
But if you stuck on the Zed storyline now, I'd watch it, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't know how necessary the
Gimp?
Zed stuff is.
Yeah, it's weird. That feels edgy Tarantino for the sake of being edgy.
I would agree.
Well, yeah. What's that scene in The Office where it's like that Gimp has a mother?
Bring out the Gimp. I think the gimp's sleeping.
Well, I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
I think because it's happening to Marcellus Wallace, who is legitimately the hardest fucking guy in the whole world, I think he just about gets away with it.
I'm just thinking, honestly, just when that scene where Bruce Willis comes into and Let's Stay Together by Al Green is playing in the background gently, and you got that blue light in, and Marcellus Wallace's voice kicks in, and he's such a good underrated performance. That Marcellus Wallace, so
he
good.
is amazing.
Like you said though, it's a victim of its own success. It's you know, when you never listen to like Wonderwall, if I could not listen to Wonderwall for 10 years, and then or no one ever mentioned Wonderwall for 10 years, or Mr. Brightside, that's probably better. No one mentions Mr. Brightside to me for the next 15 years, and in 15 years I stick that song on, I'm gonna be like, wow, Mr. Brightside's a good song, isn't it? Whereas now I'm just like, fuck off.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I break your concentration?
So in our challenges review, you said that you didn't like title cards. How do you feel about the title cards in this movie?
What are the title cards in this movie?
Don't know. There's a few where they just.
Well, I think there's one, and it's 13 hours earlier or whatever.
Is that it?
I don't remember a lot of title cards in this movie.
Well,
and also in
anyway.
Tarantino movies, I think they're edited like that. I have no problem with the chapters, or I like that.
Okay,
that's a
fair.
staple of Tarantino. I just don't like. I think it's a cop out in challenges more than anything. Just like instead of writing clever exposition or stylistically showing it. But Tarantino, like Pulp Fiction, set over the course of 24 hours. There's not a lot you can do.
Yeah. I think what is so amazing about this is that it's a long fucking movie. It's 2 hours and 34 minutes, and I think out of all of the movies,
it's a breeze. It's just like a fucking breeze to watch.
Yeah, and the biggest compliment I can give Tarantino movies is that if you ask me to sit down and watch a 2 hour and 34 minute movie, I'm gonna be bored.
Yeah.
I am never bored during a Tarantino. Well, the worst ones I am.
Hateful Eight, I was bored.
But that's what I mean. The ones that I don't like, that's what is that? 2 hours 45, 48 minutes. That's not necessary.
No.
I don't care that much.
But Pulp Fiction, I don't think there's a wasted beat in that.
No.
Movie. And again, the soundtrack. We'll go back to the soundtrack because we talked about it at the start.
Oh.
It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well.
It's unbelievable.
It is probably the best soundtrack
of
all
time. It's
time.
like a jukebox of things he listened to growing up.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about Pulp Fiction is that he took everything that was good about Reservoir Dogs and dialed it up to 5,000.
It's amazing. And also, just the fact that on the actual official motion picture soundtrack, how you have cuts of dialogue is very cool. Because no one else did that before Tarantino. And he explained that he wants his dialogue to almost play like a song.
Yeah.
Where you can listen to it over and over again. You don't get bored of a really good song.
No.
You can listen to it and you're not like, oh, I know this. Whereas the fucking Roy Howard Cheese or the everybody, this is a robbery.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
I think this movie stands alone in how much of an accomplished film this is. I think there's Tarantino movies that I much prefer, but I think this is a piece of cinema history. Like, I think that this movie, the fucking briefcase shit, like...
That I don't particularly like.
You don't?
I think it's gimmicky and I think that feels immature. But again, it's so iconic. Who am I to fucking argue?
I do like a good...
MacGuffin.
Yeah, but just in the sense of like people have theories about what's in that, and like is it this, is it that? Exactly. And like there's so much critical theory on this movie.
Dead's dead.
What I like most about the movie is that every single scene has something in it.
Yeah.
That you can latch onto, or...
Well, it's just, the whole fucking thing is memorable.
It is crazy.
Like, every fucking scene, you've got the coffee dialogue, you've got the, I mean, every time Sam
Jack
Jackson's...
Rabbit slit like.
Oh yeah, we don't even talk about the Jack Rabbit dancing, which is just so iconic. Sam Jackson at every point, you know, check out the brains on Brad.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Like all of that shit is iconic. Foot massage, iconic.
Yeah. Every beat of this is memorable.
Her overdose.
Yeah.
You know, the watch, having to go back and get the watch.
Yeah.
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
I would really like to do a deep dive into how, like, every single cultural reference about Pulp Fiction.
Oh, it's so parodied and so...
Because...
I mean, what's the Simpsons episode? A collection of short stories about Springfield. Is that what it's called? And that's all just a Pulp Fiction homage. And that came out, like, a couple years after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It was instantly iconic.
I mean, there's nothing that we can say about this movie that someone hasn't already said. It is...
And that you don't know.
No.
If you've seen this movie, you know how good it is.
Yeah.
And don't be a fucking contrarian. It's good, all right? Yeah,
good.
we know Tarantino's annoying. Yeah, we know everyone likes it. Yes, the worst people like this movie. It's really good, though. Sorry.
You got your T-shirt on, I see.
Yeah, look, Mrs. Mia Wallace.
Mrs. Mia Wallace. She became the best fucking...
Halloween costume.
The best Halloween costumes for annoying women.
Yeah, my English teacher growing up from year 7 went as Mrs. Mia Wallace.
I'm sure she did.
Shout out Lucy King.
Awesome.
We all had a massive crush on you. And she used to give us sweets in class.
I mean, yeah.
How to Win the Way of an 11-year-old boy.
Impeccable movie.
Yes.
And
yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry.
All of these movies, I'm like, I feel every time I talk about them, I'm like, nah, they should be higher in my ranking, but I got to rank them somewhere.
So was that your third?
That was 4th.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay. What's your number 3 spot?
Again, you're going to be really surprised by this. My number 3 is Inglourious Bastards.
Georgia.
This.
I noticed you haven't brought up Kill Bill Volume 1 yet, which I'm quite shocked about. Okay, Glorious Bastards. Yeah, is my number 2.
The Germans call them the bastards. These Yanks have been them the devil.
Well, we're all tickled to hear you say that.
This was my favourite Tarantino movie before we rewatched them.
Yeah.
I was fucking obsessed with this movie.
And it's so good.
It's not surprising why.
Yeah, it's my number 2. It's amazing.
It is... I mean, for anyone that knows me, I did a degree in French. I love French history.
You wish you were a French cinema.
Yeah, she is my literally me, where it's like, yeah, I would totally not be friends with Nazis. I would be making snide comments.
Smoking your cigarette.
Yeah, I'm a projectionist. I'm blowing up Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's what I'm doing.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's
so
good.
funny. The entire cast is amazing. Brad Pitt is so fucking good.
Unfortunately, this movie suffers because I've seen it so much.
Well, see, I haven't seen it that much. This was probably my 5th watch.
I have watched it so many times. The Brad Pitt stuff on the 10th, 15th rewatch is a little bit grating to me.
Which stuff?
You know, the Gorlami. Like, it's funny, but it is really funny.
One more time. It's really funny.
It is really funny.
Gorlami.
Scusi, con me?
Gorlami.
Ancora una volta.
Gorlami.
Okay. Let's just talk about the opening scene with
The best 20 minutes in cinema.
It's up there.
History.
It's the best. It's probably my favorite performance of all time. It's Christoph Waltz in this movie. He is so fucking scary. And I said to you, because you've watched it a lot, those first 20 minutes, you're on the edge of your fucking seat. You know the outcome. You know that he's harboring Jews.
Yeah.
You know that Christoph Waltz finds them. You know that they get shot. But at all points, you're like,
oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He knows. Does he know? Oh, he might know.
And I think Christoph Waltz in this movie is
So he didn't win the Oscar for this.
He did. He got Best Supporting Actor.
But he also won it for Django.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair play.
I am a huge Christoph Waltz fan. So we didn't watch these in chronological order, but most recently we watched Django and Inglourious.
Yeah.
And I will say I love the Christoph Waltz era of Tarantino
Yeah,
because
it's his
I
own
think
thing in it.
he is a fantastic performer.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about him. He's a polyglot, which is, to me, I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The language nerd in me, the language switching in this is done phenomenally. I know, obviously, I'm guessing Tarantino just wrote the subtitles, so it still has that.
I'm sure we had people working along to make the...
Exactly. But apparently we saw a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, and apparently like Christoph Waltz, everyone was just like floored by how confidently he would just like switch languages. I mean, he's European.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo. Bingo! How fun!
It's so good. There's not much to say.
That's a bingo.
The historical setting is so good. Nazi occupied France.
It again. He knows what's cool about history.
It could easily be set in Poland or again something a bit more depressing. But I mean, if you're just a line, if you're looking for a French girlfriend, I can suggest Vichy. It's so good.
And also, you have to know a lot about Nazi occupied France to get that joke.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't know about it. It's only because I sort of researched, a lot about it sort of over the years.
Si vous cherchez désespérément une petite amie française, je vous suggère d'essayer Vichy.
And I think, again, I absolutely love Tarantino's rewriting of history.
Yes.
And the karmic payoff in this movie is phenomenal. And we'll talk about it with upcoming movies.
But again, for
2 hours and how long is this movie? 2 hours and 33 minutes. The good guys win and the bad guys lose.
Yeah.
And they lose in spectacular fashion.
Yeah. There's no bunker. There's no dignity in it.
No.
They get shot in the fucking
They
face
get
by a bunch of
blowed
Jews.
up by Eli Roth.
A black man, and a Jewish woman, and a group of Jewish fighters.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's great.
Who wants to send a message to Germany?
I have a message for Germany. That you are all going to die.
Everything about this movie.
I really like the cultural stereotypes as well. We talked about this in the watch, but
I've got this written down.
The Mike Myers and Fassbender.
Yeah.
What should we drink to, sir? Well, down with Hitler. All the way down, sir. Yes.
They're
being
proper uppity British.
Yeah, and his German is just terrible. Like, even if you don't speak German.
Yeah.
He has the arrogance, but it's like, yeah, you're a Brit speaking German.
We can
so
tell.
Obvious.
And the three
compared
thing
to like compared to who's the woman's name? She's from
Diane Kruger.
Diane Kruger. Her German, to my ear anyway, sounds very German. Whereas his is just like
and
you can hear the. If we're going out, do you mind if I speak the Kings? And it's just like very. Yes. What?
Well, if this is it, old boy, I hope you don't mind if I go out speaking to Kings.
It feels like everyone is sort of equally being not made fun of, but
but I mean, Brad Pitt's character is a pastiche.
Oh
of
yeah,
those,
he's just like an ignorant yank.
Yeah.
But again, the fucking what are they? Oh, the bastards.
Yeah.
They're funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I love the fucking again.
I love the turncoat one, the one who murdered the SS officers. He's great.
Yeah, and it does such a good job of. It's just telling you this one little story that just happens to be set in war, wartime. And I think language and like cultural melting pot that was that time. It's a world war. You know what I mean? Like everyone is involved in this. And it sort of makes you think like, yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that everyone got involved in this because like it was pretty fucking mental.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty fucking mental.
Pretty fucking mental, wasn't it?
I respectfully refuse.
Hey, Donnie. Guy's German here wants to die for country. Oblige him.
My one bad point would be that Eli Roth plays the Bear Jew instead of Adam Sandler.
Since you've told me that, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and actually makes me upset. I'm not even an Adam Sandler fan.
Politically, seeing Eli Roth in these movies makes me a bit sick, but what are you going to do?
Yes.
But yeah, no, that was your number 3?
That was my number 3.
You know something, you rich? I think this just might be my masterpiece.
Right. Get out of the way then. Number 2.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, fuck off.
No!
Oh, okay.
I
cannot believe that.
Why you're so vexed at this opinion?
Cannot believe that. Right. Well, that's my number 1.
Buddy, order fried sauerkraut! Crown you Nazi bastards!
Okay.
Once Upon a Time.
Alright. Shit on my opinion.
I was hoping we'd have the same one so we could wrap up on the one we both love, but now we've got to go back. Anyway, should we talk about...
Sorry, would you like me to change my opinion?
I'd like you to change it to a correct opinion.
It's official, old buddy. Well, it has been.
August night and the leaves hanging down and the grass on the ground.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. One of the best films ever made, in my opinion.
This was a very, very big surprise for me. I loved this movie.
It is absolutely amazing.
I think you were talking earlier about Tarantino fatigue, and I had that big time going into this movie. I did not think I was going to like this.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it, but I wasn't that keen on it when I saw it in the cinema.
Oh, no, I actively disliked it the first time we saw it.
Did you?
Yes. Well, we went to see it together, and I had that... I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, I agree.
And it threw me through a loop, and I was like, that was kind of boring.
Yes. And I think you rewatched this and were like, you have to rewatch. This spurred us doing this ranking.
Yeah, literally. You were out one night, and I was like, fuck it. I hadn't watched a Tarantino movie in years, and I was like, I've only seen Once Upon a Time once.
Yeah.
People like it. I didn't like it. I'll stick it on. And like, it is a fucking trip how it transports you back to the summer of '69, if you will. And oh, it's so good.
So this movie in my thingy is all purple. So people had the same opinion on this, I think, which was that it was good. So it's got 7.6 on IMDb, an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an 83 Metascore. So
it's so low.
It is. It's too low.
Far too low.
I think people, as we were not expecting this movie, and all the hype around the Manson shit, and I think it put people on a like bitch pedestal where they were like, no, not this movie.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, the violence at the end.
Yeah, that
is crazy. I'll give people that.
But Cliff and Rick are probably my two favourite leads in a Tarantino.
Yeah. Amazing.
Their brotherhood are... Cliff Booth is probably my favourite Tarantino character. Just how low-key his relationship is with. There's a moment of just pure brilliance where Rick Dalton is like, oh, do you want to come in and watch my episode of FBI? And Cliff just goes like, oh, I didn't think it was a question. I've got beers in the back. And he's like, well, come on in. And they're both like... Oh,
it's genuine male friendship, and it's so nice.
It's very hard to do male friendship without sexual undertones and queer undertones. There is none.
No.
At no point are you like, oh, maybe they fancy each other.
No, they
Which
do
I,
not.
don't get me wrong, has a time and a place, and I love that in a movie. But very rarely can you do that brotherhood closeness where they respect each other, they like each other. Cliff loves helping Rick out of a jam.
Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
Yeah, I will say one thing that really surprised me watching Reservoir Dogs is how fucking gay that movie is.
Yeah.
That threw me.
What between Tim Roth and
yeah, that threw me for a loop. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fucking hold me.
Yeah, pretty fucking gay.
Please hold me.
Yeah.
But no, there's none of that in this movie. It's by far and away the most mature and mannered. It does the Jackie Brown formula, but just everything that didn't work about that movie works in this movie for me.
For me, it's almost impossible to compare it to another Tarantino.
Oh no, of course.
It feels like Jackie Brown. It feels like that's probably the comparison, is that it has no rivals. You know, like Django and Inglourious sort of in my head go together as a pair. Hateful Eight and Reservoir Dogs go together.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time is just a collection of scenes.
Yeah, and also
all it is building up to that night.
Yeah. You also, so the run of these movies, you got Death Proof in 2007, Inglourious Basterds in 2009, Django 2012, Hateful Eight 2015, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 2018.
Yeah.
So to me, Django and the Hateful Eight and Inglourious Basterds to a certain extent, by the Hateful Eight and by the time this came out, I was like, I'm done with Tarantino.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to watch this. And I wasn't ready for it.
It's okay, Caleb. It's okay. Sounds like a really sad book. Poor Easy Breezy.
And I was fucking ready for it this time, and I loved every second of it. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes. It could have been an hour longer.
Yeah. I think there's a director's cut out there somewhere. But it looks so good as well, doesn't it?
You know what else I loved about this?
What?
You don't feel sickened because there's no Weinstein logo at the beginning. That's the best thing you can say about this movie, is that you don't get the crushing reality of realizing that
Weinstein's name's all over it.
Weinstein's name is all over these cars. Cars?
Where the fuck has that come from? Oh, speaking of cars, just the amount of
that
scenes in this movie,
so good.
Where they'll just play a bit of music and you just get to watch and enjoy the set design and production design.
This has got a lot of Tarantino vets in smaller parts as well, which I like. You've got like Zoe Bell, you've got Kurt Russell, Al Pacino's in it.
All the shooting. I love that stuff, you know, the killing.
A lot of killing.
Yeah,
Which
you got
is
that old guy who plays, who runs the Manson ranch. Who's in all those movies.
There's so many good performances
Leo is
in this.
amazing in this.
Brad Pitt is great.
Brad Pitt's amazing.
I don't
and
have
Margot
any.
Robbie is breathtakingly good. My only con is that there's not enough, and I know the whole. I reject your hypothesis.
Being in the film in this part.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
But it's not that I don't think it. I don't think it's sexist. I don't think it's mean-spirited or whatever people thought it was. I just think. No,
because it's so good.
It would have been nice to see a bit more Sharon Tate, because Margot Robbie was so good in that role.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of Rick and you get a lot of Cliff, but you don't get a lot of Sharon Tate.
It is.
But you get enough Sharon Tate where it's so cathartic by the end.
And I will say, it again, what I like about Tarantino is the rewriting of history, and Sharon Tate in this movie might be one of my favourite performances in any movie ever.
It's so heart rate, like it breaks your heart in a bittersweet way.
She's an angel.
Yeah.
And
I'm in the movie. I'm Sharon Tate. I play Miss Carlson, the klutz. That's me.
What I like about this movie is the genuine reverence Tarantino has for the golden age of Hollywood.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel phony.
It's not gimmicky. It's not annoying. And for those 2 hours and 40 minutes, Sharon Tate is alive and she's happy. And that is, to me, I think that's really, really amazing.
Rick Dalton?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, well, hello, neighbor. Have you everybody okay?
Yes, Sharon. Everybody's fine.
Are you okay?
By the time the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, at the end comes up, it honestly feels like a therapy session.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It rights all of the wrongs. Like, the Mansons, they're
and
nut
just Rick
jobs.
coming out with his frozen margarita.
So good.
In his robe and yelling at people. It's like...
There's so many iconic moments in this as well, in a way that's a lot less, like, where he's like going like that to the TV.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Like, so good. When he's on the fucking
because you
floating.
could basically like a Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Like Rick and Cliff watching that episode of FBI together, which is so much fun.
It's so good.
I could watch that movie all the time. I love it. And when they go to the ranch,
amazing.
And Brad Pitt.
This put me onto Austin Butler.
Oh yeah, Austin Butler's fucking amazing in there.
So good in this movie with his shaggy, horrible Manson hair.
Nah, something's dumber than that.
You are...
I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business.
No, it was dumber than that. Something like Rex.
God, shoot him, Tex!
Tex!
Yeah, it's crazy. The
She's
Manson
great in it
stuff
as well.
is so good.
The girl from Scream is really good.
Who?
The one of the ones at the end who gets a fucking...
Oh, yes. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
She's in a lot of stuff. I like her a lot. She's great.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney's in it. Margaret Qualley's in it. One of my cons are there's too many dirty feet in this movie. There's a lot of feet. Also, my only other gripe is I don't like the Bruce Lee stuff.
But my hands are registered as lethal weapons. That means we get into a fight, I accidentally kill you, I go to jail.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah, no, fair enough, yeah.
It seems unnecessarily targeted and mean, and I don't... Apparently, he was a bit of a shit to stunt doubles.
He was a bit of a prima donna, wasn't he?
But it
does feel like, what a weird guy to go after.
Yeah, and I think
Like, the fact that, like, Polanski comes out unscathed. It's so... And, yeah.
Polanski being in this movie is odd as well.
Well, you can't escape it.
You can't escape it, but... And the fact that Polanski... Like, for me, that's so far removed from what I know Polanski as. You know what I mean? Because Polanski was Sharon Tate's widower. Like, to me, that's so far removed from, like...
From what we know.
What we know about Polanski. But yeah, the dirty, hippie, 70s...
again, just a little...
So good.
That little cameo of Manson is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm a sucker for Charles Manson shit. I do find it creepy and weird.
Yeah.
And I think Manson is... as a pop culture figure, fucking weird.
Can I help you?
Oh, yeah, hey, man, I'm looking for Terry. I'm a friend of Terry's and Dennis Wilson's.
Well, Terry and Candy don't live here anymore. This is the Polanski residence now.
Really? You moved? Dang.
I mean, people were up in arms about this movie before it came out. And
yeah.
Sharon Tate's sister was like, don't do this. And then she saw the movie and was basically like, I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
Tarantino's a great guy, and like she lent like jewelry for the movie, so I do think that, and they were justified in thinking what they thought, because you hear Tarantino and you hear Manson and you think,
oh god, yeah, you think it's going to be like a
the movie's about Sharon Tate, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're historically good to your female characters, that'll be fine. You didn't bury any of them in a box. So, I could fawn about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood all day, but got maneuvers to make. So, what is your numero uno?
In case you haven't realised by deduction, my numero uno is Kill Bill Volume 1.
One ticket to Tokyo, please. One way.
That woman deserves her revenge.
I'm shocked, but Also, we had a great time watching Kill Bill Volume 1, so I'm not surprised. It was a great rewatch this time. Probably my
So
favourite
much
watch of
fun.
Kill Bill.
So much fun.
It's great. It's
I
a great little movie.
love it. I love everything about it.
It's cool as fuck, isn't it? It's the coolest of them
It
all, I think.
is awesome. Where did it rank in yours?
Oh, 5th.
5th.
Yeah. So I prefer Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Bastards, and Hollywood.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a girl movie.
It's half a fucking movie, is what it is.
Yeah, but that first half is fucking great.
Any more subordinates for me to kill?
Hi.
The cliffhanger ending, I think, is
Yeah.
unbelievable. I've seen these movies before, and I was like,
Yeah, it's great.
it is fantastic.
I love the setup. I love the payoffs. I love the costumes.
It has everything good about a Tarantino movie. It's horrendously violent. It's got tons of women in it. The women are all
Lucy Liu.
amazing. All of the women are also so hot. Julie Dreyfus in this movie is crazy. Uma Thurman, her acting isn't the best,
Yeah, that's a con for me.
but I think her performance is fantastic. It's more of a physical performance,
Yeah.
where I think the second movie, it's a physical and emotional performance. I think the Bill stuff is great. I think all of the women are written as compelling, interesting, complex, detailed characters. They're not just...
No, they're not nameless faces.
No. The Pussy Wagon is awesome.
Pussy wagon. Fucker.
Oh, see, this is where we get to things I don't like about Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I don't like that whole hospital scene. I think it's gross and not in a fun, campy way. I think it makes me feel icky.
It rides the line for me.
Yeah.
And I think it just falls on the side of okay.
Price is $75 a fuck, my friend. You getting your freak on or what?
Oh, yeah, boy.
I don't particularly like the opening fight scene between the mum when they're like, "Oh, do you want a coffee?"
Not?
I think the dialogue's a bit too quippy for my liking. It's very fast and cool.
So you can just kiss my motherfucking ass, Black Mamba. Black Mamba. I should have been motherfucking Black Mamba.
I
We're
will,
cool guys.
I
We're
will
cool guys
say,
talking.
I do think it's an immature movie.
Yeah, it's juvenile, but it's fun.
It's very juvenile, but it's also very fun.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Kill Bill. I think it's great. I just don't. For me, it doesn't have the emotional impact of other Tarantinos, like Bastards or Hollywood.
I agree, but for me, this movie,
You got no Michael Madsen in it in a major role as well, which is always a plus.
it is a hype movie,
Oh, it is, yeah.
and I love it.
You know
so
how you say,
much.
I said that you wouldn't put Jackie Brown on with a bunch of your mates. You
Put
whack
Kill Bill on.
fucking Kill Bill on. It's great.
We deserve to die.
No kidding, I heard it was kind of hard.
Yeah, get drunk and watch Kill Bill. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is for me. It is everything I like about Tarantino, just concentrated.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And if I completely get if any gripes you have with the movie, I'm like absolutely fair.
Yeah.
I completely get it. It just everything about it works for me.
I thought you didn't like the anime stuff.
That is the only I knock off 0.1 of a point for that.
See, I love that shit. I think it's great.
It's not bad.
Mm.
It's just not to my taste.
I love the end fight scene though.
Everything about it.
What's Lucy Liu's character's name?
Oren Ishii.
Oren Ishii. That
Great.
whole fight scene, where she just takes on about
Silly
100
little Caucasian girls shouldn't play with samurai swords.
Yeah.
It is so good. Everything about this movie is awesome.
And the girl from Battle Royale, Go, what's her name?
She is amazing. I can't say enough good things about this movie. Lucy Liu, I mean, I'm a massive Lucy Liu fan anyway. She's phenomenal.
Vivica A. Fox is really good as well.
All of them are so good. Is Michael Madsen just at the start of part 2? Because you get that
he plays a major role in part 2.
but you get that one clip of him
Yeah,
in the flashback.
Yeah, which is a great fucking setup.
Oh,
as a plot setup, it's great.
The reason why this ranks number 1 is because of one scene, which is Bill, it's your baby. Bang.
This is me and my most masochistic.
Bill, it's your baby.
And bang bang plays.
Yeah.
And I was
that opening's so good.
I was floored. When I tell you, I was sat there and I was like,
yeah.
That is one of my favourite songs of all time anyway. It is done to such good effect. And that emotional impact of... And what I like most about this movie, and why I found Death Proof so disappointing, is that these women are hard as fuck, right? There's no contest about that. These women are bad. Like, they are awesome. She gets shot in the fucking head, and she doesn't deserve any of this. This woman is pregnant, and she is battered and bruised. And like the scene where she finally wakes up from the coma and realizes that there's no baby in her stomach. It's just like
it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, and you get why
Maybe
this
that's
woman.
the emotional side.
You
of
get
it,
why this woman is like, well, no, fuck all of you. I don't care. Like the fact that she sort of says, "Well, I won't kill you in front of your daughter, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to fuck you up." And it's like, yeah, absolutely justified.
And I love that. In a few years, what should she say before she leaves?
Oh, it's something like,
if you have any problems, come find me.
Yeah.
When you grow up, if you still feel raw about it, I'll be waiting.
Yeah, and it's just for a man to have written this movie. I love it.
Well, I think it has the Uma Thurman input as well.
100%.
Which I think is a benefit of it.
And I maybe again that's where the emotional resonance doesn't hit with you. But like, I think it's a fabulous film.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what they call the 5, 6, 7, 8. The great
the
band.
Okay. That whole scene is so good, and that is what I think is missing from Kill Bill 2.
Yes.
It's not as fun.
No.
Whereas by the end of this movie, you're having a fucking blast watching it, and I love it.
I will say it's an hour and 50 minutes.
Short.
It's short and sweet, and I don't stretch that out to a longer movie, and I wholeheartedly say it's not as good. I just think that it is beat for beat for beat. It's just relentless.
Well, I respect you more having this little chat. I think
I'm glad.
It is a great film, and fair play for putting it number 1. Bold choice. I wouldn't expect you to be any less of a contrarian than I come to know, and that's on me.
One more thing, Sophie. Is she aware her daughter is still alive?
I mean, going into this, I think I have surprised myself about what my list was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these movies, like going into Reservoir Dogs, I said to you, I was like, I mean, I don't have the best memory anyway. I was like, you were like, do you know the twist? I was like, no, not a clue. And it wasn't until I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, I do sort of remember now. But I remember watching Kill Bill 1 and being like, yeah, that was cool. And then I think I got like, when I was really young, probably like 11 or something, got like halfway through Kill Bill 2 and was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
And turned it off, which I wasn't wrong. It is
No,
kind
it's
of
kind of
boring.
boring, yeah.
But a lot of these movies, I mean, most of them, I don't think my opinion's changed on. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Kill Bill, definitely, I think, were like, whoa, okay, I really fucking like this.
Respect.
Pleasing your fans or pleasing the critics for you?
Ah, interesting question, actually. Well, I want to please my fans, and I want to please the critics that are my fans. The critics ain't my fans. I don't give a damn.
How do you feel about your list? Any that you are undecided on, or did you have a pretty?
Reservoir Dogs is always a hard one because I've seen it so many times, and it's not as big as the other movies.
Yeah.
But it is good, and it's hard to compare. Same with Jackie Brown. It's really hard to rank these movies. Whereas I think you can rank. Yeah, no, I like Django less than I like Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah.
They're sort of compatible. Pulp Fiction, but for me, I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is in a league above his other movies. And that's just personal taste.
No, and I was so taken aback by how much I enjoyed that. I think it is an absolutely phenomenal film.
And bring on the movie critic.
Yeah.
If it happens.
I mean...
And bring on his Star Trek if it happens. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I was so happy to rewatch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and enjoy it, because I think, like you said, I reached a point where I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck about Tarantino anymore. And he really fucking pulled it out of the bag with that one.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention it earlier, but the narrative of the aging celebrity and like...
Yeah, that whole scene of, to go back one more time, we'll close on this, but that scene between him and the little girl.
I'm practically crying and I haven't even read it.
About 15 years you'll be living it.
What?
Nothing, pumpkin puss.
But also, I think that fits well into the oeuvre of Tarantino, just in the sense of like, yeah, he's not that guy anymore. And for all his faults, I mean, I didn't really like Death Proof, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. No. None of these movies are bad. Like,
he has probably the best filmography in modern...
I feel bad for like I shitting on Reservoir Dogs. It's an incredible movie, like so good, and as are all of them.
Just for the. What are you doing?
So yeah, I hope this was enjoyable.
And I pray that you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, go and check it out.
And I hope that it comes into fruition. And we'll have more of these coming up.
Yeah.
Please share.
Let us know if there's any,
have
rankings or
we're very approachable.
Any movies that you want us to cover, because I know a lot of people have said, oh, I haven't seen any of these movies, but maybe
yeah, people who want to listen to the podcast but haven't seen the movies, that's sort of our fault for being very hipstery, but
if there's anything you particularly think is interesting, let us know.
Yeah, cool. And we'll be back very soon, hopefully with more video content.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so
watching.
Much. And have a great week.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the other side.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't like these movies.
Get real.
Dude, I saw that movie 20 goddamn times!
Just consume product. I watch my movies. Yeah, my movies are just
Oh, this movie's too complicated.
So once again, no smoking, just theater.